Alright, hi, my name is Gaylen Bartlett. I'm a freshman here in my second semester at ASU. And as you guys all know, the biggest college small talk conversation of the century is, what is your major? And I don't have an answer for this because I'm going to school to be a chiropractor. And what that involves is I have to go here to ASU for 3 years to finish a bunch of prerequisites so I can go to Iowa for school to Palmer Chiropractic College. And whenever I tell anybody that, they're like, what's in Iowa? And the answer is nothing. There's nothing in Iowa, so you guys can all feel bad for me. So who here, by a show of hands, has ever experienced any kind of pain or stiffness or sickness that they just couldn't get rid of? Okay, so the majority of us are female. You guys may not know what chiropractic is, but what it is it's a procedure that some people may consider a little bit more natural than any other kind of medicinal practices. Some kind of prefer it, some don't. So you guys can take your own opinion. But what I want to tell you about is the history of chiropractic and how it actually works. A lot of people know, heard of it, but they don't know actually how it is or how it works or anything. And the beginning of chiropractic, the history, is a little different than your normal medical field, because when that ended up happening, it was kind of found by coincidence. In 1895, some guy named Daniel Palmer discovered it. And what happened, Daniel Palmer had a friend named Harvey Biller. He was out playing football with his friend, and he got smashed. And what ended up happening is he just lost his vision, he lost his hearing, and his neck hurt. So what Daniel Palmer did, like any good friend would do, took his neck, cranked it a few ways, ended up finding out what the problem was, and it ended up restoring Harvey Biller's vision. So, good friend, thank you Daniel Palmer for discovering something for us. But it didn't take him very long. Within the next 2 years, he actually opened up Palmer Chiropractic, and he built it next to nothingness in Iowa. Thank you. So great. Daniel Palmer just cranks some guy's neck and makes some discipline, but how does it really work? What a chiropractor does is he's going to fix misalignments of any vertebrae that are out of place or any joints that are out of whack. So what happens when you reach for something and your back goes cracked? You guys, I know everybody's experienced it. What's happening is your vertebrae is getting out of whack. So what the doctor is going to do is he's just going to press on it and fix it. And those of you who've gone to a chiropractor know that when you do get an adjustment, there's a cracking noise, a loud cracking noise. Before I actually made this speech, I always thought it was just bone on bone, just rubbing, and I'm like, that's kind of disgusting. But what it really is there's a gas being released whenever the crack is, and that's what makes the thing. So at Christmas time, when you open your presents from all your relatives and you get the bubble wrap and you're stepping on it because we're all got an immature side to us, that popping noise is basically what's going on in your spine. And when that gas is being released, what's happening is it's going to relieve that pressure, and instead of anything else happening, it's just going to make all the tissue fibers in your body, there's information being sent throughout there all the time. And that when there's gas trapped, what's happening is it's blocking that. So a lot of times I've had pain in my legs or my calves or whatever, and I'm like, how's chiropractic going to help this? But what it does is it fixes whatever's in your back, and it's now making information flow smoother throughout your body. So the pain always goes away no matter where it is, because now my back's fixed, everything else is going to be better. So a lot of people, I have a lot of friends, I've been around chiropractic since I was like 2 years old, because my uncle and my grandpa are chiropractors. That's what made me want to get into it. But my friends will go with me to the chiropractor and they're like, wow, it looks like it hurts. You've got a grown man with your head in his hands, cranking it different ways. And it looks like it, that's understandable, but it feels really good. The only way it would ever hurt is if you're really tense, which is like standing like a robot, or if you've ever had any trauma to the muscle area, so the muscles would be spasming. But other than that, it always feels really good. That's really when it hurts. That's when you probably need it the most, because something's really out of whack. So in the past 5 minutes, I've just went over the history and how chiropractic actually works. I hope you guys have a good insight about how everything's going on, and next time you guys pass by that chiropractic sign on the road, you guys will know what it's all about, and hopefully be informed enough to tell your mom and your dads and boyfriends and your brothers and your sisters, what it really is. And I encourage you guys to look into it farther so you guys can know like what the medical advantages and disadvantages may be for your own personal health. So, and I'd like to, on top of this, thank Dr. Anthony Gross and Dr. David Merchant. They're chiropractors here in Tempe, and they work at Coyote Chiropractic. And I used a lot of their information. I also like to thank Dr. Roll and Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, my grandpa. So that's cool. And they're chiropractors. They let me interview them. They gave me some of their time. So that's, thank you guys too for listening to me. Thanks.
Yeah, you're good.
Hi, my name is Sean Park, and I'm also a freshman here, just as many of you guys are. And today I'm going to be talking about chewing gum. Most of us have chewed gum at some point in our lives, whether it was as a small child enjoying the brush of a shirt, or as a teenager attempting to mask his or her skin to gum before dating. We understand that gum has several purposes. While the invention of chewing gum is credited to a Mr. Thomas Adams, many similar ideas of gum, which are grown on spruce and sapphire trees, have been used throughout ancient history by Greeks and Indian colonists for centuries. I'm sure that many of us have heard of the myth that swallowing chewing gum will save the digestive system for up to 7 years. However, gum isn't really as toxic and unhealthy as such myths make it seem. I myself chew gum on a regular basis, either to freshen up my breath or out of pure boredom. In addition, I have known several friends and relatives who have chewed gum for greater purposes such as breaking nicotine addictions. Today I'll explain the basic history of chewing gum, ingredients and various brands of chewing gum, and the greater purposes of gum in our society. Before we get into the specifics of gum, I'll discuss the history of where and how gum came to be. Many people who chew gum are unaware of who originally invented it or where it was invented. Although modern chewing gum is credited to Thomas Adams, the idea was initially introduced to him by a Mexican general known as Antonio Lopez de Santana. After his exile from New Mexico, General Antonio lived with Thomas Adams in Staten Island, where Adams attempted to use the elastic resin found in cheap lead to make more economical car tires. While Adams failed at creating a new form of tires, he ended up succeeding in creating the first mass-marketed chewing gum. Shortly after, the first flavored gum was introduced by William White, only to be succeeded by Wrigley's Juicy Fruit. Ultimately, the rise of the chewing gum industry, which began in 1871, has led to a giant and immensely competitive business, which continues to this day. Now that we know where chewing gum came from, the question at hand is, what is in chewing gum? Chewing gum consists of a paraffin wax gum base, sugary sweeteners, artificial flavors, softeners for the right texture, and active ingredients such as baking soda for freshening purposes. While one would assume that the gum base would be the greatest ingredient in chewing gum, in actuality, 59% of chewing gum is purely sweetener. Nevertheless, the right combination of all these ingredients is what creates good chewing gum. However, there are several companies which are in competition for the title of Best Gum. Brands such as Wrigley, Orbit, Five, Clips, Dentine, Hubba Bubba, all attempt to appeal to individuals' personal preferences and ultimately gain dedicated customers. Of the many different brands of gum which exist, Wrigley is currently known as the largest gum manufacturer. The sugary gum, which we chew on a day-to-day basis, has a greater purpose whether we realize it or not. Gum has been experimented upon for several years, to the point where we are now able to use it to benefit ourselves. While most chewing gum has a breath freshening flavor, this cool tingle actually consists of particles of a chemical known as carpine, which neutralizes plaque in the mouth. In addition to maintaining a healthier oral cavity, gum is also capable of breaking nicotine addictions for several millions of people. The gum increases dopamine levels in an individual's brain, which results in better moods and fewer cravings. Furthermore, gum has been used by many people to quench thirst when liquid is unavailable. I will now review the new knowledge of gum which I have informed you upon this day. Today I discuss the origin, components, and purposes of gum in society. We went back in time before an economical tire was created to observe a chewy substance known as cheap lead, which manipulated this once common substance into a purposeful object. Gum's evolution over the generations has resulted in a longer lasting, more resilient, and more stable form. Who knows? Maybe gum will be able to cure sickness or even cancer someday. Next time you chew gum, perhaps you'll remember that gum is a lot more than just a simple elastic